I asked my entire AI community one question, and every single person said the same thing. I run an AI community of business owners, agency owners, SaaS founders, consultants, and just yesterday we all got on a call and I asked them a question. What's the hardest part about using AI for your business? Every single person said the same thing. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly why chasing every new AI tool is keeping you stuck, and the one thing the people actually making money with AI do differently. We'll cover the community call that changed my mind, why more tools equal less output, the one tool deep framework that I've engineered, and how to pick your tool and actually build something with it. And I want to be honest here, I was a part of the problem. I was the guy testing every new AI tool, making videos about them, telling you to try them, until I saw what it was actually doing to people in my community. On yesterday's community call, I asked the one question. Who here is feeling anxious about the development of all these new AI tools? Every single person raised their hand, including myself, and there was over 15 business people on this call. There's a gentleman named Rock. He runs a go high level agency, and he's building an AI agent called Jarvis. Another guy named Jason who's building his own go high level setup for voice agents. Totally overwhelmed. We have Marcin as a beginner with a newborn, and we have Chris Kramer feeling overload from scrolling on socials. This anxiety is not a personal failure. It's a systemic flaw in how we are being taught to adopt AI via social media. Every single person that you see trying to adopt AI is in the same position. We're currently in the wild, wild west of AI technologies. And nobody wants to admit it, but that's what's going on right now. So there are really two types of people right now when it comes to AI tools. We have general tool chasers versus the focused builder. The tool chaser has shallow knowledge across 20 plus different tools, whereas the focused builder practices strategic laziness, mastering just one agentic tool. Spoiler alert, the focused builder wins every single time. This is somebody who's practiced one punch 1,000 times. The chaser is somebody who's practiced 1,000 punches one time each. The chaser has everything rigged up with band-aids and duct tape, versus having a unified system and self-healing code bases. The chaser has a plethora of subscriptions, paying hundreds of monthly subscriptions. Whereas the focused builder is going to be canceling those subscriptions by building their own custom solutions with one AI tool at a time. Really, it comes down to chasing and feeling a high amount of anxiety, or being a focused builder and standing above the noise. On our call yesterday, Eric Michaud claimed that he started using one agentic tooler and started by building all the tools that he had current subscriptions for to save himself money, and that's how he got his start. I highly recommend checking out his stuff on YouTube as well. And the real problem is that every AI YouTube video is pulling you to this left column, and this video here is trying to pull you to the right. I want you to become a focused builder. I don't want you anxious. I want you building, and I want you applying what you see to build something functional that can actually generate some value for you. Now let's talk about step 0, getting above the dance floor. What I mean by that is you find yourself in this mess down here with everything you see online, and you're not spending enough time standing on top of everything and actually seeing what matters. The key is separating yourself from the tools and then watching yourself behave objectively, looking at your entire business objectively. One of the greatest coaches in my life, Alan Finkelstein, ex-CEO of all the Jewish community centers in the United States, has given me this exact advice, and I apply it to everything in my life, not just AI systems. So imagine you're in a gymnasium and there's a balcony above. You want to get up there and watch yourself behave, how you play. You can't build an effective AI system while dodging elbows in the weeds. That's really what I'm trying to get at here. And the technology doesn't matter until you can answer this question. What is the highest lever that I can pull in my business right now? Cash flow, lead generation, operational scale? Where do you stand in all this? Once you're above the dance floor, here's the diagnostic. First off, who are you? Are you a solopreneur, an agency? Are you a corporate employee? And there's much more than just two answers here. For example, if you went down this route, the question would be, what is the critical bottleneck in my business right now? Is it processing or delivery of services, data and analytics, or inflow and leads? If it's the inflow of leads and I can't handle that process, the target would be automating my pipeline. Or let's say you're a corporate employee. What consumes 80% of your time? Is it the complex problem solving? Or is it maybe just repetitive tasks? If you went down this route, we could focus on building internal automations or internal scripts, code. But what we're seeing is each path leads to a target, something that we can lock in on. And the core message is to never deploy an AI agent or system without actually identifying the target. It's like saying you want the company logo before you have the brand values in place. It just doesn't work. On the call yesterday, Rock Davis was looking at how to automate some of his Go high level, maybe building a meta ads dashboard or a content machine. The real question shouldn't be what should I build, but rather which bottleneck should I solve? And then prioritize these bottlenecks based off of what's going to actually bring the quickest return, the highest lever to pull. Jason, for example, is building AI agents for contractors, but hasn't generated leads yet. The bottleneck isn't building the actual AI voice agents, it's the pipeline before it. That would be his target. Now take a second, ask yourself who you are, ask yourself the critical question, what is the bottleneck, or what's consuming 80% of your time? Look at what those answers are, then pick a target. You could take your time and pause here, but once you know that lever, here's the paradigm shift. Real quick, if you're feeling that overwhelm, I get it. I built this Skool community specifically for people like you who want to go deep on AI systems without chasing every shiny new tool that comes out. The prompts, the framework, the support, it's all inside of my Skool community. The link's in the description below. Now, back to the sauce. At CC Strategic, we focus on the one environment rule. Stop searching for the perfect combination of AI tools. Pick a single agentic coder and let it be your operating system, whether it's anti-gravity, Claude Code, or maybe you're using something like OpenClaw, there's even Cursor. When you focus on one agentic tool to build all of your agentic workflows, because that's what's working right now, all of your tools become streamlined and they all work under one house, that specific agentic coder. The goal isn't to just use AI to do all of your work for you. The goal is to build a unified engine that pretty much renders your current workflows obsolete. Consolidation, baby. Chris Kaler, my co-founder, and myself use Claude Code exclusively, where somebody like Eric Michaud uses anti-gravity for the most part. Not that one's better than the other, we've just picked one lane and got extremely dangerous with it. What matters is you pick one and go 90 days deep on it. As my partner Chris said on the call, go deep on one thing that works well and crack the code on it. So what does going deep actually look like? There's levels to this. Level 1, if you're using Claude Code, you're customizing your claude.md file, the what, the where, the who, and you find yourself in the tinkerer level. Level 2 is finding out about skills. You're downloading some GitHub repos and you're beefing up your setup. That step beyond in level 3 is using dynamic hooks. You're using personalized agents to inject keyword-matched rules on the fly as you're communicating with your AI. Level 4 is getting into the builder/AI savant level, where we find ourselves in end-to-end orchestration, where we're deploying agents that enforce an entire plan and build for us. And at the pinnacle at level 5 is enterprise hardening. You have multi-agent security architectures or builds with devil's advocates and vulnerability remediation, meaning you've cleaned house on whatever your agents are building, and it's something an enterprise company would be using. Most people find themselves stuck around level 1 and 2, maybe even reaching level 3. But the people who are actually making money are at levels 3 to 5. That's what the depth actually looks like. And the problem is most people just stop with the claude.md file. And when you go deep, your file structure becomes the operating system for you. How you organize your files with your agentic coder defines your operating system. The way that my team and I use Claude Code, for example, is the polyrepo brain style, meaning we have a massive unified workspace folder so the agent has context on everything that we do. We just organize it effectively. Each project or app goes inside of its own folder with its own planning documents and context. As we have ideas, they go from passion projects to internal apps or workflows as we build them, and we can transfer them from file to file, meaning it starts from experiments with their own plans to actual systems that are built out end to end. And this is why going deep on one tool matters so much. Your file structure becomes compounded knowledge for your AI agent. And then there's context management. This is where it gets really interesting. When you use something like an agentic coder, the AI behaves differently as context fills up. The more that you chat with it, the less effective it becomes over time. When we hit 30%, we create handoff documents within my team and then reignite a new conversation with the handoff document that basically laid out what we were talking about in the previous conversation. Because if you don't do that and you let context run low, your agentic coder is going to do something called compaction. And that uses a mighty amount of tokens to absorb that conversation and to summarize it all, which often leads to the AI missing nuanced details about the project midway. So here's the savant way. We intervene at 30% remaining context, force the AI to restate its goals and touched files, whatever it's working on, and have it execute a handoff protocol, create another file of the summary, and then boot that into a new session with Claude Code, which is going to preserve intent and understanding of where you're at in the development of your workflow or project. That's the CC strategic way of doing things. We use an orchestration layer called Paul, and I did another video on this. It's probably going to be linked somewhere here above. Right before context runs fully out, we do Paul pause, and it'll generate a handoff document for us. Then we do Paul resume, and it'll pull that right back into the conversation with fresh context without compaction hitting and causing issues. And here's the standard way of doing things. You're moving forward and your AI agent is just forgetting decisions made in phase 1 by phase 4. And the savant way forces reconciliation, meaning we're reinforcing the initial plan in every phase, after every single step. When it comes to saving outputs, the standard way is compaction, whereas the savant way is to log properly, log every deviation, deferment, and touched file against the initial PRD. Product requirement document, the initial planning. And as far as end-to-end reliability, the standard way, even when using something like Get Shit Done rather than Paul, it requires constant human steering mid-project. And on the more advanced side, we're going to be shipping end-to-end flawlessly because the plan is continuously cross-referenced. This is why we use Paul. It's going to reconcile every plan it executes on. You'll always get a summary, and you'll always get an end result that you could refer back to. And at the very top, you get enterprise hardening. Vibe coding is fragile. Production-ready apps require security, especially if you're going to try to make money from them. We also use a plugin called Aegis, multiple specialized domain agents, one orchestrator, and one devil's advocate that tries to poke holes in everything. It's going to fire some darts at the project. Not to just be pessimistic or negative, it's meant to show the problems ahead of time so that we can solve them preemptively. And then Aegis is going to create a remediation plan output. If you guys want access to Aegis or Paul, go ahead. They're going to be linked in the description below from Chris Kaler. And then from this plan from Aegis, it's going to push it back to Paul so that it can fix all those problems for you. This is what depth really looks like at the top. You can't get here from tool hopping. So let me tie this all together now. This is the CC strategic engine. You start off on the balcony. You identify the highest lever to pull. You set up your polyrepo workspace, meaning your operating system. You have a PRD, a product requirement document, and planning file. The orchestrator. It's executed on, and you have a hardened code base. And the result is the lever is pulled and cash flow is generated. AI agents without a lever to pull is just noise. A business lever without orchestration is just an unexecuted idea. True mastery is connecting the two with zero friction. So here's something you could chew on. What does your subscription kill list look like? Eric Michaud had a teleprompter app that he canceled because he built it himself with a Python script on anti-gravity. He also built his own Loom app, so another canceled subscription. And instead of paying for generic dashboards, he's built his own. Your homework is to pick your agentic coder. Find your biggest bottleneck, stop learning, and start building. If this has changed how you think about AI tools, like the video and consider subscribing. I do about 1 to 2 videos on Claude Code workflows every single week. And my co-founder Chris and I have an entire playbook on all of this inside of our Skool community. The frameworks, the tools, the courses, everything you saw today and more. It's free to join, and the link is in the description below. We focus on what actually works and generates cash flow, not just what's going to get us clicks. Check out some of my other videos in my VS Code and Claude Code playlist. You can see how I built things from scratch. If I don't see you inside of the Skool community, I hope to see you on the next video. Take care.